Hi there, welcome to No Nonsense Whisky. My name's Vin PF, and on today's episode we've got another Sample Saturday for you, and this is another one in collaboration with Mark Littler. You probably saw a few weeks ago, I've been covering some of these older samples. I've got quite a lot of them to get through, but I took a couple of weeks off for illness, and you can see why when I cover these ones here. Now, something I've been doing on these videos recently is opening them on screen for you, because I thought probably the best way of going about this was to give first impressions of these whiskies. Now that's probably true of some sample sizes. I think, like especially let's say more modern whiskies, to get a first impression of these things is probably a good idea. Now I actually tried to record this video probably 3 weeks ago, but I found myself really struggling to pick apart these whiskies. These are incredibly old, incredibly complex whiskies, and they didn't deserve that kind of treatment. So I decided what I was going to do is try them over a period of time, over a couple of different days, over a couple of different weeks, until I had something relatively intelligent to say about them, which, you know me, isn't going to be a lot. But yeah, so it's taken me a little while to do this one. Hopefully that's not going to happen for the rest of them, but I think what I'm going to do is, if we're talking about some relatively young ones, or maybe some of the blended stuff, I might open them on screen. But yeah, anyway, we're toying with the format. So as always, feedback welcome. If you prefer that I do a bit more kind of robust research on these things, then let me know. I know it kind of divides people, but I suppose most of you don't really care which way I do it, as long as there's something to cover. Anyway, today then, we've got something I was quite excited to do. When I saw these when I first opened them, I didn't want to do them first because I didn't want to peak too soon, but I'm going into something which I'm a bit of a fan of, and that's Linkwood. Considering I haven't got many Linkwoods on the channel, mainly because, they don't do a hell of a lot of their own bottlings anymore. It's mostly indie stuff and into blends. But today we've got a 15-year-old and a 25-year-old. Both 40%. These tend to sell, these samples, I don't know how much they went for, probably a few bob, but the bottles themselves, the links that I was provided at least, they recently went on auction for 140 and 160. So that's the 15-year-old going for 140 and the 25-year-old going for 160, which doesn't strike me as too bad to get that snapshot in history. Now these also differ by a decade. So the 15-year-old was bottled in the 80's and the 25-year-old was bottled in the 90's. So that tells me somewhat that these are both a distillate of a particular era. So they shouldn't be. The base liquid should be roughly in that sort of same sort of zone. So we should be seeing some cask differences here. Don't know much about the casks. I will say that after 25 years, it's quite dark. So whether there's some movement in that or not, I just don't know, is the truth. So yeah, best thing we can do then is to get straight into them and see what we've actually got. I've got my glasses down here. Now, the first one then, this is the 15. Now, again, I am going to talk about colour on the channel, but usually I don't, unless I've got a clear indication that it's non-chill filtered, natural coloured, that sort of thing. I've got no indication on this, so we're just going to have to talk about the colour. But here, I don't know about you guys, but that to me is almost like a, I want to say mahogany. It's just ever so slightly lighter than a mahogany. So I'm going to say something along the lines of like a planed mahogany. I don't know what I'm talking about there, but it's dark, man. Look at that, it's dark. Okay, let's get onto the nose then. Now for me, it's quite a lot of furniture polish, but in a good way. I don't know if you know that smell I'm talking about. I quite like the smell of furniture polish, but it's in that sort of vein. Heavy oak on this. There's a lot of oak, a little bit of coffee, and it's quite leathery as well on the nose. Extremely tannic is the point of this. It's everyone would get something different on the nose, I think, but I think they would all be in that kind of like tannic section of the flavour profile wheel. Let's get onto the palate. Okay, it's big, it's bold, it's thick. Loads more of those leather. I'm getting kind of pencil shavings off of this one. More coffee, and that's kind of morphing itself into a bit of dark chocolate as well, which again goes with that kind of like not really sweeter, but yeah, there's more tannic side of things, bittery side of things. It's really lovely. Very bold and impactful. Enjoying that. Now, again, as a tradition around here, I will swill out. And we'll move on to the 25. Now, again, talking about colour, this is what I would call mahogany. I mean, again, you can see the differences here. But it's not much different, but the 15 is clearly a touch lighter. This is, I mean, it's not quite treacle, but it's getting there. It's probably one of the darkest whiskies I've ever tried that I don't know if it was natural colour or not, you know, and obviously forgetting bourbon for a second as well. But okay, now this one couldn't be more different. It's so different. It's, to me, I mean, I don't know what the wood type on this is at all, but for me, I'm getting quite a large amount of kind of PXy vibes of this, like kind of juicy fruits, not kind of dried fruits, really juicy fruits. Some walnut, loads of like sandalwood. It's kind of very woody again, and for me, I'm getting a bit of kind of ginger spice on the back end of that, which is really lovely to smell. It's not, hang on. Yeah, it's not the same as it at all. Like, what I would love to be able to say is that the 25 is the 15 on steroids, but it's just different. It's just different. Let's try on the palate. Okay, absolutely stunning. It's basically everything I said on the nose is coming back through again, except there's an addition of that kind of furniture polish I was talking about again. That's coming through again on this, but there's also this kind of like herbal, grassy element to it, which is really lovely. I'm a big fan of that. It's borderline on that on kind of green tea kind of vibes on the back end of this. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. You know, I mean, my clear favourite of these two is the 25 for sure. But individually, they're both excellent whiskies, which is good. I was getting a bit worried for a while because I've tried a few of these kind of older whiskies now, and they've been scoring for me in the background. I've been scoring for Mark for his website, and in the background they're scoring for me using the kind of like the malt.com scale where we actually use all of the numbers rather than just sitting in the 8, 9, 10s. They've all been sitting around kind of 4, 5, 6 for me. These are definitely hitting those kind of 7s and 8s. I haven't really decided exactly what I'm going to score these yet, but they're doing really well. These are the best ones I've tried so far out of the older stock that I've been trying, and that 25 is just absolutely stunning. Yeah, kind of well worth it. If you're into that sort of thing, you know, if you're going to go searching for this, I wouldn't pay too much money for it, but that sort of 160, 180 kind of vibes seems about right to me. You know, sure, you could probably get a similar impactful vibe off of current day Linkwood, but it's nice to try these older ones. But again, the whole point of this exercise is to prove to people that you can explore the auction sites and chuck in a few samples to your order. If you're getting them anyway, getting a few bottles anyway, you may as well chuck in a few samples anyway, because if you saw this bottle at a bar, this 25-year-old, and it was, say, £30 a dram, you'd probably buy it, right? So, you know, auction prices aren't that much different to that sort of price, but there you go. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think below. Let me know if you've tried any older Linkwoods, or if you've tried any kind of different ones from different indie bottlers and whatnot. I'm a big fan of Linkwood, so I would love to know where to explore next. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on more videos soon. Cheers.